Hey everyone, it's Julian from Digital Trends, and I'm here with the OnePlus 5 and the OnePlus 5T. The 5T is the latest phone that the company OnePlus just announced. And the company is, if you don't know, it's a Chinese company that's been making smartphones for a few years now. The 5T is the latest one. The 5 released earlier this year, and the T is kind of like the S with the iPhone 6s, for example. It's a slight iteration on the original version, and so there's not much different internally, but they do look a little different. So let's get into some of those details. So right off the bat, the first things you guys can notice is that the OnePlus 5, which is on the right hand, it has these chunky bezels and the fingerprint sensor on the front, whereas the OnePlus 5T goes for that bezel-less design that you see a lot of smartphone manufacturers pursuing. So the edges are just much skinnier, it looks nicer, and you get this much bigger screen. So the screen size on the left is 6 inches for the 5T, and it's 5.5 inches on the regular 5, but you can see that the size of the phone is almost the same, it's just slightly different. And on the back, almost the exact same, except it might be a little hard to see, but right here you can see that there's a fingerprint sensor on the back. Of course, that's because they made the bezel smaller so that they couldn't fit the fingerprint sensor that used to be on the front. That's a big change for OnePlus users, but to compensate, of course, one of the things that's new is that there's facial unlocking. Now, it's not as secure as Face ID, for example. You can't use it to get into banking apps, for example, but you can. It's just a simple, convenient way. Let me just do a quick test. As you can see, it just went straight into that's how fast it is. Let me go to the lock screen, and that's how fast it works. It just recognized my face. Again, they're not really saying how secure it is. They're emphasizing the fact that it's more about convenience than security. And apart from that, that's most of the major changes are just in that display size. The other main difference, of course, is on the back. They took out the telephoto lens on the 5T and replaced it with a standard lens that's 20 megapixels. And the key here is that it's meant to help with low light photography. But the only times you can basically use that secondary lens now is in portrait mode and with low light scenarios. There's no 2x optical zoom, although if you see the camera, you see that there's still that 2x option. It's just that it's not exactly optical. It's completely digital zoom. So that's kind of a sad thing to see go away, but at the same time, they're saying that low light's supposed to be a lot better, so we'll have to see. They also say that portrait mode is supposed to be better, but we haven't been able to test that yet. We'll do that for the final review. But apart from that, that's more or less the same device internally. You get 6 gigs of RAM or 8 gigs of RAM options, along with 64 gigs or 128 gigs of storage, Snapdragon 835 processor. The resolution is slightly higher on this. It's a 2180 by 1080p resolution versus the 1920 by 1080p on the OnePlus 5. 5.5 inch screen on the right and 6 inch screen on the left again. And it's an AMOLED panel, which looks great. It's vibrant and it gets really bright. But battery size is the same, 3,300 milliamp hour, and the same dash charge technology lets you charge it super fast. So that's a quick look at the OnePlus 5 and the OnePlus 5T. The 5T will go on sale on November 21st, and it'll cost $500. So it's $20 more than the 5T, or than the 5, but in Europe, some of the pricing will actually stay the same. So again, that's a quick look at the OnePlus 5T. Check out our website, digitaltrends.com, for more.